Hi, welcome back to Holly Hobbies. It's Sunflower Week here in the studio, and I have another flower wreath for you. I'll show you how to add fused deco mesh petals and leaves to a 10-inch wire wreath frame to create an easy flower design. Let's get started and have some fun crafting a beautiful sunflower wreath together. Hi, welcome back to Holly Hobbies. It's Sunflower Week here in the studio. We're gonna do a deco mesh sunflower wreath today, and I have this green and I have this yellow, a soft poly mesh that we're gonna use for the petals and the leaves. And we're also gonna be using a 10-inch wire wreath frame. I also have some mesh, and been wanting to use this flower center for a while that I got at Hobby Lobby. And it just is going to make doing that center part really simple and easy. And we're going to start by tracing some of our plastic mesh. This is a 7-inch mesh, and we just need to cover the inside portion of our ring here, our 10-inch wire wreath frame. So you're just going to get a Sharpie and you're going to trace that enough so you can see your circle. But we're gonna go ahead and cut this out. So we've cut out a circle out of our plastic mesh, and it's the size of the inside portion of our 10-inch wreath frame. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we're gonna go ahead and attach this with some zip ties. And we're just going to take 4 zip ties of your choice. We're going to take 4 zip ties, and we're going to go in the plastic mesh about 1/4 of an inch or so. Make sure you're in a couple of those squares. And we're just going to hook it onto our wreath frame. We're not going to secure the final zip tie yet. We're going to get everything ready. We're going to do another one across, and we're just going to secure on that inner wire wreath ring, which I call the number 4 bar, or I always name it 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to get a couple on the other side. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to see this at all. It's just going to give us a little something to hook a set of our petals on and our centerpiece for our flower. Now, I did get this one from Hobby Lobby. You can make your own centerpieces, which is what I usually do. It was really cool, and how easy is that going to be? You could just put that right in the middle, and you have a beautiful flower. So we're going to go ahead and tighten these down now, and we just want to make sure it's on there. Right there in that center portion of our wreath. So I'm going to get some wire clippers, and we're going to go ahead and cut off the ends of our zip ties. So we're going to be ready to start our crafting project now, and we are going to need a wood burning tool for this and some tempered glass. So I'm going to get that set up and be right back. Tempered glass set up right here. And you might see a reflection with that light ring on that glass. You definitely need to have tempered glass, not just regular glass, but tempered glass as a cutting surface for your wood burning tool. And I have a wood burning tool here that I use, one of my tools. And this has a chisel tip, and you can see it's very used. I love my wood burning tool. I use it all the time. This does come in a kit, which you can do other things as well, but I mostly use just this chisel tip. And you'll find the links to all my favorite crafting supplies in the description box and all my tutorials. And I'm going to let that warm up, and we're going to get our deco mesh unwrapped and ready to cut our pieces of mesh that we're going to make into leaves and petals. So we're going to be using a green for our leaves and the yellow for our sunflower petal. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cutting our pieces of mesh into 10.5-inch pieces, and we're going to be using our wood burning tool, and that's going to help seal those edges of this soft poly mesh. Otherwise this would unravel on us, and we don't want that to happen. And we're going to do a little bit different of a technique today, and we're going to fuse all of our petal leaves, and it's just going to give it that extra finishing touch to our sunflower design. So we have our mesh in the center here, and we have our 10-inch wire wreath frame, and they're divided into sections. We have these crossbars here that go vertical, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crossbars on the 10-inch frame. So we're going to start by securing 2 leaves to each of our crossbar section. So we're going to start cutting our green mesh here, and I'm going to put the mesh curl side down. So I'm going to cut 10 pieces at 10.5-inch strips, and that is going to be our leaves that we're going to attach to our 10-inch wire wreath frame. We're going to start curl side up with the finished edge on the top and the bottom, and we're going to bring the bottom up to form a triangle. Okay, and we're going to go right, see how this edge is unfinished up there? You see the little tips of the mesh? We're going to go right over that with this piece. So we're going to start with our 10.5-inch piece of mesh here, and we're going to do curl side up and finish edge on the left and the right. And I'm going to take that top corner and we're going to bring it down, and we're going to form a triangle here. Now, this piece right here, you see there's a finished edge and an unfinished edge. So when you do this unfinished edge, you want to go right before that finished edge, because you want that finished edge to be the one that's showing and not this part. So you're going to just fold it a little bit before that edge there. So I can still see that finished edge, and I'm going to start by smoothing it down. And now you see that we're left with this edge here, and we have another 1/2 inch, and now we're going to follow this finished edge here with our wood burning tool, and we're going to fuse both pieces. Just going to get it started there. Both pieces of mesh together. So curl side up once again, and we're going to bring that top down. We're bringing this unfinished edge just before that finished edge, just like so, and we're going to smooth it down. And now we're going to go ahead and cut. And same on this side. You want this unfinished part coming right before that seam. And now we're going to come down this seam right here. If you want, you can always take a little clip to kind of hold it down for you while you use your wood burning tool. Sometimes that helps keep it nice and flat for you. And now we're going to use our wood burning tool with the chisel tip, being very careful. And now we're just going to follow that seam all the way down. And you see how we came right behind that seam there, and we can see that beautiful finished edge right there. And that's fused together as well. And we're going to do that one more time together. So we have curl side up, seams on the left and the right, and we're bringing this down to form a triangle. Or you can bring this up this way if you like. I actually prefer to bring it up. And now you're coming in right before that finished seam with this unfinished edge. And you're getting it nice and flattened out so you can get it started with your wood burning tool. And if you need to use these little clips, they really do help. And you can use the clip to kind of help guide your mesh, keep it down while you're cutting. At least getting that end started. And now we're gonna cut right at the bottom along this finished edge seam here. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna fuse our two pieces of mesh together. You get one that doesn't wanna, you gotta go back and hit it with the wood burning tool. And now we're coming to the end. So I'm gonna keep doing the same thing with all my pieces of mesh. And you see how we have that beautiful finished edge there, and we have another finished edge on this side. And we'll just keep going. So we're gonna start with our green triangles here that we're gonna use for our petals. And what we're gonna do is we're going to just pinch it right in the middle. You're just gonna eyeball it in the middle. We're going to pinch. I'm gonna pinch to the side, and you're gonna flip it, and you're gonna pinch it to the other side. And we've created this little petal here, and it's fused. We have a beautiful fused petal. And we're going to use our zip ties. These are 5-inch zip ties. You can use whatever size you want. And we're just going to secure all of our leaves here, and we're going up the stem. We're making sure we're going up at least a minimum of a 1/2 inch. And we're going to give it a nice secure tug and clip off. And then we have this fused petal leaf, and we're gonna do that same thing. We have the open end. If it's shorter right there, just flip it over. And we're going to pinch in the middle. We're gonna pinch and grab till you get to the edge of one side. We're gonna flip it and pinch and grab till you get to the other side. And now we have another petal here that we've made, and we're gonna use our zip tie. And you get your pleats the way that you want, everything nice. And you have that nice, beautiful leaf that we're securing with the zip tie. And we're gonna do the same thing on all of these leaves. And then we're gonna go ahead and clip. And we have 2 of these now. And so I'm gonna keep going. So it's a little bit shorter right there. So I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna come right in the center and pinch and grab to one side. We're gonna twist it, pinch and grab all the way to the other end. And we grab it just so, the way we wanna hold it, get everything curved and turned the way that we want, and then we'll go ahead and get our next zip tie on. And we're just gonna repeat this process with our leaves, and we're gonna do the same exact thing with our petals as well. But right now, the very first thing we're gonna do is attach. Okay, so we have our leaf, we have a shorter, how it goes a little bit shorter in, so we're gonna flip it over. So it's all, you see a nice even edge here. We're gonna pinch in the middle and pinch and grab to the edge, to the outside edge. We're gonna flip it over and pinch and grab to the other edge. And you secure your petal, you get everything the way you want, and look at how beautiful that fused edge just keeps our petal together real nicely, and you're not gonna see any of that frayed finished edge, and you're just taking that extra step, but it really does go a long ways. And I'm going to continue. So we have our petal, and it's shorter right there. We're going to see how it just comes in. When I mean shorter, I just mean this part comes in over that finished edge. So we want to flip it over so we see everything right there, nice and full. We're pinching in the middle, and we're pinching and grabbing to the side, and we're pinching and grabbing to the other side. And then we're getting everything secured in our hand, all of our pleats. And it just, you can always secure it straight to your wreath frame as well when you're doing this design, but I like to do all the petals ahead of time and then put them on all at once. So we're just prepping all of our petals, and we're going to be doing the same exact method with our yellow ones as well. So you're going to be nice and practiced with all these beautiful petals by the time you're done with this. And you're probably just going to always want to do it this way because of that extra finished edge, that extra fused petal edge, which really does. Maybe some people don't notice it, but to a crafter, it's a huge difference there. And just going that extra step, look at that. We have those beautiful edges. So I'm going to keep going. So we have all of our leaves here. So we're getting ready to attach our leaves here to our frame, and I just wanted to show you that we have 4 metal bars here, and we're going to name them 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we are going to only attach to this crossbar with our leaves right now. And we're going to take the first one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it between the number 1 and the number 2 bar for now. I'm going to nestle it right in there, right up to that zip tie right there. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my zip tie now and show you, because you won't be able to see it when I put this leaf here, but we're going to just overlap the next leaf here. And what we're going to do, I got a bigger zip tie so it's easier for you to see. You can use whatever zip tie you want. But we're just basically going right in the middle of the number 1 and number 2, just like we did with the leaf, with our zip tie. And we're going to go right across that crossbar. We're connecting this right to the crossbar. See, I have this right in the middle of the 1 and 2, and we're going to connect it right on top of that zip tie on our leaf. So I'm just going to get that started. We're going to get our next one in, and we're going to nestle it. We're not going to nestle it inside like we did the first one, but we're going to get our zip tie over that original zip tie on the leaf, and we're going to angle it the way we want. A slight little angle there with our leaves. And now we're just connecting. Basically what we're doing is we are just connecting those 2 leaves to this crossbar right here. I'll put it right here so you can see it. So basically that's what we're doing. We're just connecting them right there. So we're going to go around to each of the crossbars, and we're going to connect our 2 leaves. So I'm going to secure that now, and I'm above the zip ties on the leaves, and I'm going to give it a nice tug, and I'm going to clip that excess zip tie off. So we've just attached our first 2 leaves to the crossbar, and we have 4 other crossbars, and we're going to do that same thing. We're going to start with our first leaf. We're going to go right in between that 1 and 2 bar, right up to the zip tie. And I'm going to get my zip tie ready to go. I'm going to get it right across that crossbar, but I'm right in the middle of the 1 and 2 with my zip tie. And now I'm going to push this one in over. This zip tie is going to be over the top of that zip tie. I'm going to angle it just slightly. And I'm going to go ahead and connect my next leaf right there. And we'll clip that off. And I'm going to continue with each cross section with my 2 leaves. And now I have my 10 leaves that are attached to each of the crossbars. And we're going to get ready to cut and attach our yellow. And we're going to do it that same exact way in the 10.5 inches. And we're going to use our wood burning tool. And now we're going to take our yellow and we're going to do that same exact method. We're going to cut it into our 10.5 inches. And we're going to bring it down that 1/2 inch off our triangle. So for this next step, we're going to be securing our yellow petals on the number 2 bar here, on in between each of our leaf sections here. And what we're going to do is we're going to get it placed in this number 2, and we're only connecting to our number 2 bar right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to secure it right over that zip tie that's on the petal already. And I'm going to go ahead and secure that just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and clip that off, and we're going to do that same thing with the other 2 petals. And we're only using this number 2 bar. Just like that. That's the number 2 bar. And I'm going to go ahead and get my next petal ready to go. And we're just going to overlap that just a little bit there. And we're going to secure that one as well. And we're going to do that one more time, and that will complete this section here. And here's our next petal. And we're always going right on top of that zip tie that's on our original petal or our leaf. And I'm going to go ahead and secure that one to the number 2 bar as well. So we're going to keep continuing this pattern and see how they're just overlapped just a little bit there. And we're doing 3 per section. So I'm going to continue with my 3 yellow until we get each of those sections filled up. So now this next row, we're going to be doing 2 per section, and we have 5 sections. And now I have the rest of my petals cut over here, and we're going to begin by attaching them to the very inside part or outside part of the plastic mesh. We're going to go on the plastic mesh, and we're going to do 2. Remember how we have divided, we have sections? We're going to do 2 petals per section. So we're going to look at our section here, and we have our bars are right here, here and here. So we're going to do 2 right on this plastic mesh, and we're going to grab our zip tie. Let's see here. The section is here and here. Okay. So we're gonna do 2 on this mesh, and we're gonna try to get as close to about 2 to 3 in from the outside edge of the mesh, and then we're gonna come about 2 or 3 across, and we're getting our zip tie all ready, and we're gonna go ahead and place that right there. And we're gonna make sure that we're zip tying it on the top of that other zip tie, and we're going right onto that plastic mesh, and we're giving it a good tug, and we're clipping that off. And now we're going to do that same exact thing to the left of it. We're going to do 2 in each section, and our black crossbar is right there. So we're going to go really close to that edge, come across 2 or 3 bars, and we're ready for our next little petal here. And we're going to overlap the other one. Put it just like that. And now we're going to go ahead and secure that. So we're going to keep going around this plastic mesh, and we're going to do 2 petals per section, securing them real tight and clipping them off. And each time you go around, just get your zip tie ready. And now we're moving on to the next section. And I can see the black. It's right here where the green is, okay? That's where the crossbar is. So the next we're gonna go, just keep going 2 at a time, and we're going about 3 down from the mesh and a couple over. And we're gonna go ahead and place our petal right overlapping this other petal, and it looks like a nice little placement there with the other ones. And we've securing that one as well. And I'm going to keep going around and doing 2 petals per section until we make our way all the way around. We don't want to go right to the outside edge of the mesh. We want to just give it a couple squares down and a couple squares over. And that way it's on there. It's got a nice little piece to hang on to. And let's give this one another tight tug, and we'll clip that one. And I'm going to keep going around till we make it all the way around 2 per section. And now we've finished the 2 per section on the outside part of that plastic mesh, and we have that beautiful second layer of petals that we're building up here. And we're going to add the last few petals. I see a little piece I want to clip right there. If you have any little stragglers, sometimes that happens, just go ahead and clip them very gently. So now we have the last 5 petals here, and we're going to place these on the inside of this section here now. So we're going to place them about so, like we're going to try to get 5 of them right here on this middle section, and we're overlapping all the petals. I'm just going to kind of show you what it's going to look like, how we're going to do it, and get those right there in that plastic area. And we're going to do something like that. And we're going to do that same concept with our zip ties, and we're going to attach these 5, and then we will attach our finishing centerpiece to finish off our beautiful sunflower design. And we are right in the middle of Sunflower Week at Holly Hobbies. Who doesn't love a beautiful sunflower? And now we're going to connect these last 5, And now we're basically doing one per section, and you're just going to kind of fill on the bottom where your crossbar is, and we're going to try to do about one per crossbar. If you like that look right around there, your placement, then we can go ahead and get our zip tie ready right by that crossbar. This one's going to be my crossbar. I'm coming to the left of the crossbar here, and I'm on that plastic mesh, and I'm just doing that same thing, and we're connecting these last 5 petals, and I'm trying to come up. It's hard to see. It's not quite in the mesh. Now we're coming in the mesh. There we go. All right, so that's right around that crossbar. And I like how it's overlapping those other 2 petals. And we're going to get our 5 placed in here now. And the same thing, we're going right on top of that other zip tie. And we're giving it a nice tug. And we're clipping our zip tie down. Now I'm going to come around. And I'm just going to fill where that other bar is now. And it's right, the other crossbar is right around here. And that's going to put it at a good spot. Right around there. Let's get these out of the way. And so we're going to come right around here. It's kind of right in that space right there. So we're going to come down and up the other side. And we're going to go ahead and place that second one on the inside portion of that mesh, and we're just building up these nice layers, these petal layers here, and we're clipping down, and we have 3 more, and we're coming around. We're going to fill for that crossbar underneath, and it's right around this area, and we're just going to go ahead and place our zip tie, get it ready inside that mesh there. And we're going to go ahead and place that right around there. And look at how it just does this beautiful overlap of the other petals. And we have 2 more petals, and we're finished with all of that part. And then we can do that beautiful center to our sunflower, and I'm moving around. There's 2 more crossbars, and there's one right here. And that's a nice little gap right in between those other 2 petals, so it makes it nice and easy to get that zip tie in there. And let's do this nice little overlap right there. And look at how beautiful our sunflower is building up with these beautiful petals that we're stacking, overlapping, layering, and should be one more right around this area, right in here. And this is going to be the very last petal. And then we will get going on prepping our centerpiece. And here is the last one that we're placing on that plastic mesh, and it has a nice little beautiful overlap. And there's the 5th one. And those crossbars gave us a nice little gauge on the placement of those, and it just gives it that nice little spacing and overlap, and just like a sunflower looks. And look at how pretty that is so far. We've have those beautiful green leaves on the outside edges and our beautiful yellow that we've built up. And now we're going to get our center prepped and ready, and we are going to attach this with some wire, some floral wire, right to that mesh right there in the center. And look at how beautiful that sunflower is gonna look. I'm a huge fan of sunflowers, and I think everybody loves a beautiful sunflower. And I would say that could be an all occasion, all year round wreath. So let's go ahead and get this centerpiece prepped and ready to attach to our wreath. And we are getting really close to wrapping up this design. And we're gonna go ahead and place our floral wire in the center of our styrofoam wreath center. And we're going to go ahead and place our floral wire in the center of our styrofoam wreath center, my silicone fingertip, and then I'm going to place my piece of scrap felt right over the top there. And we're going to let this dry really good, and that's just going to give it extra reinforcement. So we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to be able to use this wire here to attach it to that plastic wreath form in the middle. And now we're ready to attach our wires here. We're going to put those right through the deco mesh, or right through the plastic mesh. Let me lift this up so we can see a little bit better. And we're just going to play around. It might take a couple times to get the right placement, but we're going to get the wires in. Sometimes if you might have to move them over to the side so you can get through to that plastic. There we go. Let's see what that one's going to look like. We want to get it right there in the center. And let's flip it over. And that's where we have the wire pulled up nice and tight. And now we're going to go ahead and give it a few twists to secure it really good. And now we're going to give it a few twists, and we'll go ahead and clip that down. And that should be a great placement. And look at how pretty that is. Look at how beautiful that sunflower turned out that we did together here with that beautiful center that was already pre-done. I've always been wanting to it actually for a long time, and I just been dying to use it, so I'm so glad. I think it just looks perfect in the center of this sunflower. Next thing that we're going to do is we are going to put a zip tie on the back to hang it. And let's just go ahead and flip it over, and we'll use these number 1 and number 2 bars, and we'll put our zip tie on it. Let me have it in the right direction here. And we'll bring it down to about an inch, inch and a half or so. And that way you have a little something extra to hang it if you don't want to use that bar. And that completes our beautiful deco mesh sunflower wreath. I hope you had fun crafting with me today, and that you'll subscribe, like, and follow me for more wreath and crafting ideas. Thanks for watching Holly Hobbies, from my heart to yours. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow for more wreath and crafting ideas. Thanks for watching.